It's a second six-rounder early on in the career then of Jermaine Dhliwayo, the 23-year-old.
Seconds out.
He hails from fighting stock. We've got plenty of skills, loads of good amateur experience, and I suspect you're going to see a lot of that tonight as he returns to action. It's a different kind of experience for him this evening. He's been sort of way down on the undercards of some of those big bills. Chisora against Wallen, Dillian White, Teti out in Gibraltar as well. Joe Joyce against Chisora, he was on that undercard, but it's a different sort of starting out in the early hours of those undercards at big venues when the crowd are not quite there, as opposed to seeing the whites of the eyes of those ringside at a place like York Hall, Andy.
It is, and I think it's good to have a kind of mix, isn't it? We had that show not so long ago where Jimmy Sains and George Liddard were on it, right up at the top of a card, when previously they'd had that kind of experience you mentioned on big shows, but really early in the night, and you look at what they took from that and the way they've kicked on since they were on that Fisher Allen card higher up it than they'd been previously a few weeks ago.
Lovely shot.
One,
beautiful
two,
straight left to
three,
the body.
four,
Rangefinder
five,
with a jab, and then he
six,
flicked it through.
7,
Back
8.
up at 7, but he hurt him. And that's a rarity. This guy isn't hurt too often, and that was so precise. Surgical precision. He found the gap, chose the moment, and speared the body shot in.
A minute 30 remaining in the round. It was a great bit of work, wasn't it? Just dropped his height slightly and sliced it in.
And almost immediately, because Quezada moves southpaw himself, so he's trying to avoid that same shot landing again by the change of the body angle. So a right hand might do the job for Dhliwayo. What a start for him. Big left hand.
This is impressive.
Still got a minute to go. Twice he's got through, one of them leading to the knockdown. Because he hurt him to the body, then he's created a bit of space upstairs. He definitely has the attention of Quezada now. Look how tight those arms, those elbows are down from Quezada. So the opportunities are going to have to be prized open and created.
He is still happy to let his hands go, though, when he gets the opportunity, because the fans are a good body shot himself there.
And therefore, he can't be too reckless, Dhliwayo.
I think he's decided towards the end of the round here, Quezada, that attack is the better form of defence. It's been a really interesting, really entertaining opening round, that.
What a start for him. Big breakthrough. Wasn't quite able to build on that. That's largely testament to the toughness and know-how of Quezada. Beautiful technique that was from Dhliwayo. All of that amateur experience coming to bear in the opening moments of this one.
There it was. He just dipped his knee slightly. Maybe Quezada thought he was going to go up top with it and went straight down into the pit of the stomach almost. Really well picked punch. And then shook him as well with a headshot, I think. Just there, just towards, towards the end of the round, with maybe about a minute remaining. And then from that point onwards, Quezada, he kind of set his feet and just had a go himself.
Round 2.
Yeah, we're working back the action there from that round. So, what does Quezada do now? Is he going to fight fire with fire, or does that make him want to go into his shell and force Dhliwayo to carve out the openings? I think he wanted to touch gloves there, the Nicaraguan.
You have to be careful doing something like that, because you're not obliged to reciprocate. If you're the other fighter, you touch gloves at the start of the fight, at the start of the final round, the referee will make you do that. But you don't have to do it at any other point, and we've seen examples from, well, over a century ago when it kind of first happened.
Yeah,
Stanley Ketchel against Billy Papka.
Yes,
Papka
indeed.
went to touch gloves and Ketchel knocked him out, basically. So
well, Mayweather against Victor Ortiz, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Leading to that infamous interview with Larry Merchant once upon a time. This good little skirmish through the first minute of the second round. And Dhliwayo is just going to have to be a little careful and switched on in those inside exchanges. Because I think Quezada is going to choose those as his opportunities.
He threw a nice double jab a few seconds ago, Dhliwayo, and he extends with it, throws it there, and it gets him into range, and then he let his hands go. It'd be good to see him just moving behind that a little bit more. He's keen to get tight and punch, isn't he? But he doesn't just want to walk in, not just because he might catch something himself, but also that jab can be a really good distraction. He's got nice fast hands, hasn't he?
Yeah, one thing he doesn't do is overcommit, so he doesn't tend to cramp his own space.
I was just going to say, actually, before the knockdown in that previous round, was that he chose to weigh in bang on the super featherweight limit of 9 stone 4, and I always really liked that early in a fighter's career, because he doesn't have to. He could come in at 9 stone 6 or 9 stone 7 if he wanted to, and nobody would bat an eyelid. But to choose to make the weight before you hit title level, it's just a good habit to get into.
Lovely combination, lovely. Jab, left hand, moved across and came back. And there's a lovely right hand. Now that was just a change of the angle, moved round the target. Quezada didn't know where he was, and because he was disorientated, the effect of a punch, there wasn't a knockout shot, put him on the canvas for the second time in the fight, probably running out of time in this second round. But another bright moment and breakthrough for Dhliwayo. Stumbles again, Quezada. He's hurt again.
The belt's going to save him here.
Terrific end to the round. That was from Dhliwayo, showing a lot of professionalism, composure, allied to technique that is farmed in all those hours in the amateur gym back in St Pancras over the course of the years. Terrific stuff.
It's been impressive stuff so far, it really has. He chops down with that right hand, doesn't he? And that's what put his man down with, what, 20 seconds remaining in the round. It caught him around the side of the head, top of the head, temple-ish. And he was slightly unsteady as he went to get back up, but he recovered in time. The referee had a good look at him and allowed him to continue.
Corners,
but he's a long way from the tape here, Quezada. It'll be a good effort if he can last the distance here, because Dhliwayo isn't, like you said, he's not going to lose his composure and go crazy. His feet are underneath him, he finds his distance, and they'll just continue to work him over.
And he keeps his shape as we move into the third. He keeps his shape, he never loads up. There's a real rhythm, tempo, technique and measure about everything that he does, which is a good sign for such a young prospect. He's only 23. We're only talking about fight number 6. And Andy was talking about the weight as well. Here he is at 130. Certainly there has been talk that when he does get to those fights and he does get to the belts, that it might be actually at 126 in featherweight.
Blimey, if he can make featherweight, then, well, he should do it. If he can make it safely, he should do it, because he looks terrific, doesn't he, at super featherweight? There doesn't seem to be much
what a shot
there.
Beautiful uppercut. The crowd told you on the far side that that one landed. And Quezada's going to need all his know-how and courage to get through this.
He really is.
And it's just pure speed and timing, technique and accuracy, and the brain working in perfect symmetry. Well, apparently the words from Uncle Derek in the build-up to this one were, use your jab, don't embarrass me live on TV. Typical Del Boy. Well, I think it's fair to say the nephew is a million miles away from doing any off the ladder. He's been terrific.
And as you mentioned, this is a real test for Quezada here. How brave does he want to be? How deep does he really want to dig? Because having been down in each round so far, if he wanted to, he could look for an early way out here without any kind of problem. But he's not going to.
Combinations and the speed is starting to give him loads of problems. Whipped in another left hand there, Dhliwayo. With a minute to go in this third round, he's pressing the advantage. Almost caught him with that Golovkin-esque looping overhand, chopping down right hand. He's going through the repertoire. There's loads of variety here, and there's some heat. And there is that overhand right again.
Quezada's still willing to trade when he gets the opportunity, which could well be his downfall. There's a bit of blood in the mouth, has been for a while there for Quezada.
This is a much more aggressive Dhliwayo than we've seen in the past. Whether this is just a taster of what he's going to be about. That's beautiful inside the pocket where he dipped under a shot and came back with one of his own. So he is going through the gears here. And the beauty is we've seen a little bit of everything and something different every single round.
He's kept the heat on well in this round. Quezada's got through it without another knockdown, but this will have taken more out of his tank because he's got a man who's just all over him really, but in a kind of measured way, if that makes any sense at all. He's not really wasting anything, Dhliwayo, but he's not giving him any respite either. He's really, really busy, and as you said, he's got really good shape to him, good technique, and he's using that. His feet are in the right place, and when you've got your feet in the right place, you've got your balance, and I wouldn't say anything's possible, but you can put everything into every punch, get the maximum out of everything that you land.
That's been impressive. Just the odd little shot from Quezada. Clipped him with an uppercut there. But largely it's been the other way around.
10 seconds.
Much more front foot tonight from Dhliwayo than we've seen him in the past.
Round 4.
Where you can see in the past, I think he's been very mindful of defence rather than attack. So even when he's throwing punches, he's not committing to them completely. Tonight, he's been happy to get into the pocket, trust his defences. Not too dissimilar to Josh Taylor in his pomp, actually, as it happens. Remember Taylor against O'Hara Davies, where he was right there in the pocket, banked on his own ability and his defences and just tore him apart from the inside. And you've seen a little bit of that tonight from Dhliwayo.
Left hand just got through there from Dhliwayo. Quezada staying out of the way as best he can in this round so far.
There we see another dip and an overhand left. Quezada flicking out the jab, trying to buy himself some distance, very much on the back foot now. He's gone past halfway. Finishing line's not quite in sight, but it's on the horizon. And I think he's very much mindful of that now, of finding a way. Been hurt several times, down on the deck twice. He's trying to find a way now. And you can't begrudge him that. This is fighting. There's pain, difficulty. He's trying to find a way.
And if he could just get through the rest of this round without too much damage, then, like you say, you can see that finish line. Through 2 rounds, when he'd been down twice, it would have looked a bit bleak on his stall in between rounds, but he's getting closer, but he's still under a lot of pressure here. He's got no choice but to hold his feet or fight back at times. Long left hand caught him there.
And he's finding the right balance as well. It's back foot, jab, movement, feet, but then throw little flurries and combinations to keep Dhliwayo off him. He's finding whatever's required. And the body angle's there just to deflect the shot, so fair play. Quezada has already got himself through the first couple of minutes. And now Dhliwayo's got to find an answer and find another way to put him back in his box.
He's so side on at times, Quezada. He's almost turning his back on him, but it's the clever thing to do. because it makes for a hard target to find, but he cuts off the ring pretty effectively, Dhliwayo, doesn't he? Just sets that front foot wide and plows in that left hand. Maybe shut his space down just a little bit there, but he can't think of much he's done wrong here.
No,
really?
To be fair, Andy, we saw him actually counter exactly what you were saying. He's hurt him again. A wicked little shot.
3, 4.
I think the bell's
5,
about to go, so he
6,
might be able to
7.
ride this out, but the referee has counted him out. He's down for the 3rd time, and in the rounds where he'd managed to buy himself some time, it was Dhliwayo who did find the answer with the 3rd knockdown of the fight, and the referee steps in, and that is the result and the performance of his career today.
He was tremendous. That was really surgical stuff. He was very accurate. He was very composed, but aggressive and nasty right from the start. And the referees made a good decision there because he got back to his feet there, Dhliwayo. The bell was about to go. He may have told the corner in between rounds, look, I've had enough. 4 rounds, down 3 times, I've had enough. There might be some rib damage there as well because there was some serious pain on his face there too.
That was a cracker, that. It was a left kind of uppercut to the body, wasn't it? And Andy, what he did in that little exchange, both that one and the one before, was to counter exactly what you were saying. With Quezada turning almost side on, the body was more difficult to hit. So to effect that, he was sliding across to the other side to open up that closed off side of the body. He did it once previously and it nearly worked, and they did it emphatically there, but he just moved across to his side, opened up the other side of the body, and he whipped in that left uppercut. It was a wicked shot, and it was a terrific performance all told. That's as good as he's looked. And that might just be a little taste of the fighter that he's going to become in the style that he wants to employ.
100%. That's the first time I've seen him live, and I've really enjoyed it. You look at the amateur pedigree that he's got, and it's serious. He's boxing out of a really good club. I wonder whether they can move in towards an area title level fight sooner rather than later, because there's a lot to like about him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time, 2 minutes and 58 seconds of round number 4. Your winner by TKO and still undefeated, Jermaine Dhliwayo.
Look at the pain on the face of Quezada. That does not happen very often to this guy. It's only the 2nd time in 21 fights in nearly 2 years that he has been stopped. And he was, listen, it was in the post. He was put down 3 times, and they were different kind of knockdowns. And
that was a good thing, wasn't it? Like you say, the variety, different kinds of knockdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if he's broken a rib there.
CJ Hussein there over on the far side. What a project for them to work with.
100%.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. He gets the exposure. He gets some coverage further up the card on DAZN. And now, once the photos are dispensed with, there we go. And now, even better, a career highlight. He gets to talk to Ali.
Absolutely fantastic performance. 2nd stoppage of your pro career. You got the knockdown in the 1st round, you got the knockdown in the 2nd round, and then you stopped him in the 4th. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that performance. I've trained hard over the past 3 months since my last fight. I've been working in the trenches, in the dark, and yeah, no, look, the performance in the ring shows. I'm just ready to keep on pushing, keep my head down, and get to work. That's it.
Career best performance in there. You were so much more aggressive than you've previously shown in your pro career. Was that the tactics? Is that what you've been working on in the gym?
For sure. You know, I've seen him fight a lot of other prospects who are like top rated, and they didn't get him out of there, but I did, so that's the statement made today.
And how good is it to be on this platform, you know, fighting on DAZN, first time on a top tier show as well?
Well, if the stoppage was going to come, it's obviously on the best platform, DAZN. Thanks to Johnny on top tier as well, getting me on. I'd love to come back for sure.
We'd love to have you back. Fantastic performance. Well done.
Thank you so much. And just thank you to everyone that came out for me. Thanks to all my supporters. And most thankfully, I thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So let's go.
Well done.
Thanks.